Hey guys, OG Albani here, bring you guys something a little bit different today. Today, we're going to be going over a Draft League challenge run. Now, what do I mean by that? You see the team above us. It's pretty darn wonky, right? Not a traditional team. The reason is, obviously, it is a full Paradox team, and we're not going to be doing this in a full league. I don't have the mental strength to do so, but we're actually going to be doing it in a speed tour that I ran out of my Discord server. If you guys do want to join that server, we run speed tours, running a draft league out of it soon. Go ahead and join it. It's down in the description below. But yeah, we're essentially going to go over a run, see if we can win any games at all, or maybe even win the speed tour only using Paradox Pokemon. If you guys do enjoy this video and enjoy this concept in general, be sure to drop a like in the video as well as subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 10k subs by the end of the year, and I'd really appreciate a ton if you help us out along that journey. And yeah, that being said, let's jump into it. Also, if you have other ideas for like theme teams for these like speed tour videos, let me know. I'm down to try anything. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see what we can get away with. But yeah, really quick, I do just want to go over the team. I'm sorry if you hear a little bit of buzzing in the background. Pops is mowing the lawn outside. I'm not going to tell him to stop so I can record a Pokemon video. But you'll see, we ended up getting pretty lucky, had the second overall pick, which allowed us to get, essentially what's the best Paradox Pokemon behind Iron Valiant. Great Tusk, great Terra Captain, incredibly versatile. I wanted to secure some really important defensive roles, so we ended up getting Scream Tail, Iron Hands, things of the sort. Iron Bundle is going to be our big speed guy. We had enough Terra points to try Terra Iron Jugulis, which I think is definitely cool. I think the cool thing about Great Tusk is it doesn't always need to Terra, so it allows us to draft a pretty cool, lower tier Terra option as well. Iron Crown is going to be our steel type on this team. We need to Fairy Resist really, really bad, and Iron Crown was going to be that. Our ground resist, by technicality, is going to be Brute Bonnet. There's not that many Paradoxes that resist ground. And then I just had points left over for either Iron Thorns or Iron Leaves, and I figured that Iron Thorns had more niche on this team because it gave us spikes. And nothing else on our team gets spikes, and we only have one other rocker. So it also gives us, or we have two other rockers, but it gives us another rocker. Really takes that pressure off of Great Tusk, which is nice because I have Terra Tusk. I won't click buttons with it. I don't want to rock. But yeah, pretty simple team, and we're just going to jump right into the battles. Alright, here we are with our first game against Platano, Power, or Gabriel, I believe it was, in my server. And he's a really scary team. We have things like Terra, Raging Bolt, Cinderace, Palafin, Salazzle, Terapagos, and Landorus Therian. In this game, quick little rundown of the team. We have an Assault Vest, Terra, Ground, Great Tusk here. Close Combat, Rapid Spin, Earthquake, and Ice Spinner. Very, very specially defensive. Not a lot of attack investment. With our Terra Ground, we actually kind of make up for that and basically feel like a very, very strong Great Tusk while still getting a lot of bulk with our AV. AV is great for things like Raging Bolt, depending, regardless if it's Terra typing, unless it's like water specifically. But even then, we can still, take it on and chunk it pretty well. And things like Terapagos, things of the sort. Even that Salazzle. We have a really cool Mirror Herb Scream Tail. It's going to be Dazzling Gleam, Encore, Psychic Noise, and Calm Mind. This is going to be a pretty nice initial response to Terap. I really struggle with Calm Mind Terap, especially the team that we built. So I can always switch in, Mirror Herb its boost, whether it be a Rock Polish, whether it be a Rapid Spin, whether it be a Calm Mind. We can Encore it into whatever move it ended up going for. It's not offensive. And then we can Calm Mind up ourselves. And Dazzling Gleam plus Psychic Noise is actually really annoying for my opponent to switch into, especially if we have some chip on some things. Then we have another Encore Mon in our Modest Bundle. We're Boots with Free Dry, U-Turn, Hydro Pump, and Encore. Again, don't want to let things Calm Mind in front of our face. We can Encore things into, Thunderclap, like the Raging Bolt, things of the sort, which is nice. Our main win condition and Booster Energy Crown, we are Psyshock, Tachyon Cutter, Calm Mind, and Sub. Pretty simple stuff, especially if it is something like a Fairy Bolt, which I am low-key expecting in this battle. I think Fairy's really strong into me. Sugar Berry Iron Hands with Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, and Swords Dance. Very simple set. I feel like I always run this into Lando. We can SD to kind of push past, Intimidate, and then with a Sugar Berry we can eat alive and blow it up with an Ice Punch. And then we also have a Iron Thorns here with a Air Balloon, Rock Blast, Ice Punch, Stealth Rock, and Wild Charge. Need a rocker in this game. It's not terrible offensively either. And it's a decent check to things like Salazzle. Our Air Balloon will allow us to kind of get up rocks on Landorus, or Ice Punch if it wants to stand. I mean, it's probably just going to U-turn out, so we can get up rocks pretty comfortably. Ice Punch is more so for it switching in. Rock Blast is for a sub-toxic Salazzle. So, yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into it, right? So, looking at Terra Preview, we do see that my opponent is rocking out with the Terra Fairy on the Raging Bolt. So, pretty simple stuff, or pretty expected stuff, right? Not too bad. We're going to lead off with our hands. Again, I wanted to lead well into things like, Palafin. I want to get off an SD and put him in a tough spot. He ends up leading Salazzle and getting off a Wisp on my Thorns, which is tough. Not having any damage output on this thing is annoying, but it still is a solid rocker. and it can still pivot in and beat this Salazzle pretty comfortably. So we also know it's not subtoxic, so all good things to know, right? It's also good to note that he did not end up leading Finn, which means he's going to have to awkwardly position the thing later, which can potentially be a benefit to us. We're going to see a taunt here, so good aggressive play by my opponent, not allowing me to get up Stealth Rock, which is very, very nice for him. Toxic Spikes do go up here, as they do just end up clicking Rock Blast. Get a crit on the first one, which is really nice. End up only getting 3 hits, though, so it doesn't super benefit us. It's like essentially getting 4 hits, right? As Lander's going to come out, and I'm going to make a double here, expecting them to not want to just sack their Salazzle for no reason. I want to get into my Great Tusk because I want to free switch into it to get this T-Spike away. The T-Spike is really, really bad for my team. I don't want it up at all. So I'm going to Rapid Spin right here and get popped out by an eject button and get into my Iron Hands right here, which is definitely annoying, but not the end of the world because I get a pretty free Ice Punch right here. If they want to stay in, I'm going to eat up my Shuka, blow this thing up, as they actually end up scouting for that, going for a U-turn, and not even really scouting for it, right? I'm not going to die to regular Earthquake from this healthy, even if I'm not Shuka Berry, so... Fair play by my opponent. They make a good play and go into Salazzle, which is going to be able to take this Ice Punch just barely. And I'm going to make the play right back onto the Great Tusk, opposed to going into Iron Thorns, because I see this is my opportunity to get off the Rapid Spin. We get Sludge Wave and crit, but thankfully due to our heavy special defense investment and our Assault Vest, we're going to be able to live that hit, knock it out with a Rapid Spin, and go down. So we lose our Terra Captain, but we ensure no T-Spike, which is nice. Iron Bundle's going to come out as the Raging Bolt comes out. I pivot into Scream Tail just to cover for Calm Mind, because Calm Mind can be really scary right now. Volt does come out, so definitely a little bit annoying, but not the end of the world. Good positioning by my opponent as well. They're going to get in their Palafin as I go hard Iron Thorns. Again, really wanting to get on my rocks. I figured to pivot into either Cinderace or the Landorus was somewhat likely. And they're going to go ahead and U-turn out as I do get up my Stealth Rocks. Out comes the Raging Bolt. And from here, I just want to get a little bit of chip on this thing, right? Wild Charge isn't doing anything because I'm -1 and burned, but it's better than nothing as a Volt Switch does come out. I also make it so my opponent can't get super free momentum on us. As Terapagos comes out, this thing can Rapid Spin here, which should definitely be annoying, but again, not the end of the world, as Calm Mind is going to pop, and that's best case scenario, because I'm going to pop my Mirror Herb on my Scream Tail. We're going to go ahead and Encore this thing in, and because we are always going to be faster, we have that thing stun locked, and we can just Calm Mind up alongside it pretty easily and eventually beat it down. We're going to Calm Mind up here ourselves here as the Landorus is going to come out, do 44%, so it is a 2-hit KO. Dodge a Stone Edge, which is definitely nice, but again, it wasn't like game-changing. It's not like that was coming close to killing us. Knock out the Landorus as Cinderace comes out. They end up going for a Swords Dance right here, I believe, as a Psychic Noise just to get off some damage. And from here, I don't want to sack this necessarily. I have something faster than in my bundle. I don't need my Thorns for anything anymore. They didn't end up spinning away my rocks, so they're still up right now, which is great. And they knock me out with a Pyro Ball. Out comes Bundle. I know I don't die to Sucker Punch, especially non-stab. I'm just going to go into it, click a nice little Freeze Dry, knock out the Cinderace. Out comes the Terapagos right here, as I do end up just going for a Freeze Dry. I want to break this thing's Terra Shell as soon as humanly possible, as it ends up going for a Rapid Spin. And I go for an Encore this next turn just to block it from Calm Minding my face, because then I can go in Iron Hands and kill it. Or I can go in Iron Hands right now and kill it, right? And there's not much of a switch to Iron Hands. It's actually really annoying into their team, especially if I'm AV, which they don't know yet. I am going to Drain Punch and just completely knock this thing out as we are adamant and offensive. Raging Bolt's going to come out. I'm going to save my Iron Hands because it does live a hit from Finn at this point. Get out into my Scream Tail, and I'm actually going to go for an Encore. The reason I go for an Encore right here is because if they elect to kill me right now with their Raging Bolt, I get a free switch into my Tachyon guy, and I can do some big damage and start setting up some Calm Minds and really put them in an uncomfortable position. So they're going to go into their Palafin. They're going to reveal a Throat Spray Boom Burst variant in this game, which would be scary typically, but honestly is kind of best case scenario here, because this tells me if they're not like Jet Punch and they're like agility type things, we're going to be able to Calm Mind up right here and put ourselves in a really good spot, opposed to before. We probably might have lost at this point if it could put enough damage on my Iron Hands and things of the sort. So definitely, honestly, a great position for me. I can't really go into my non-AV hands from here, but Surf's going to pop as we get a Calm Mind up. And we're going to be able to 2-hit KO this thing with a Psy Shock pretty darn comfortably. Now, if it is Jet Punch, it's a bit of a bad position. We would live, but we'd be in a bad spot. Thankfully, they are not, and they go out into their Raging Bolt. They go for a Thunderclap, and I do go for my Substitute, which I haven't popped yet, so it feels like a 50-50, but in reality, it's kind of a hard call for them to be like, but if they're Substitute, I'm going to attack, because I haven't shown that yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and sub here and cover them being AV. I could get 2 hits off, potentially, if I got another 50-50 right. If they're AV and I just attack, I just lost, probably. And I am going to be able to knock them out with Tachyon Cutter, as it turns out they weren't. And we're able to take home a very narrow 2-0 victory here against Gabriel. Definitely a really tight one. Could have probably played a little bit better, but hey, we'll take a win. Game 2, we're going up against Mudkip Fan and a very, very fat squad here. Headlined by Terratorn, and then things like Aloe and Gliscor, Tinkaton, Annihilate, Gouging Fire. I mean, nothing dies on this team in one. It's very, very bulky, very, very fat. And I realized as I was recording this last little bit, I can just go like this and show you guys the team. I don't have to just read it off. You'll see the team that we have right here. We have Terra Electric Great Tusk here, mostly for defensive applications. I like Electric's typing defensively. Again, you play Torn, you typically end up going Electric, right? But we're Earthquake, Bulk Up, Rapid Spin, and Ice Spinner. Ground plus Ice is always going to be strong in every matchup, literally ever, and it's no different here, which is nice. And with our Terra Electric too, we also take on things like Thunder Wave and Tinkaton, regardless of our Terra typing, and we can always spin her into EQ if it is going to be like some kind of what do you call it, variant, air balloon variant, which is nice. We do have our second Terra Captain here though, which is a potential mod that can Terra here in Terra Ground Iron Jugulis. We are a lead power modest set as the speed tiers do allow for it, being that I don't think he's going to run max speed Gliscor. But yeah, it's Hurricane, Meteor Beam, Earth Power, and Substitute. Sub is really nice on things like Gliscor. Once we get to +1 with his Meteor Beam, we do freaking damage to this team. It does not have consistent flying resist. In particular, it's just that Tinkaton. Again, if we can pop that air balloon for a Great Tusk too, it also makes our day a little bit easier. So if it's not, it gets really threatened. Then we have our Iron Bundle. Again, pretty simple set. We are just a Freeze Dry, Hydro Pump, Encore, and Flip Turn variant. We have our Sugar Berry Iron Hands. Again, same set as last time. Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Sword Hands, and EQ. Sugar Berry allows us to take on things like Gouging a little bit better. It also lets us take on Gliscor very nice. Thunder Punch and Ice Punch are great. Earthquake is great for blowing up the likes of Gouging, the likes of Tinkaton, things like that. And SD lets us do a lot of damage to Annihilate as well. Then we have an Assault Vest Iron Crown. It's kind of our main Torn pivot. Don't have great Torn counterplay otherwise. Again, flying looks really strong into us. Specs Terra Flying is really, really scary. We're Psychic, Volt Switch, Tachyon, and Future Sight. Future Sight sets up some really nice KOs with the rest of our team. And then we have a Boot Screamtail, which is going to be our rocker this game. It's defensive, T-Wave, pretty simple stuff. Psychic, Ice Beam, Thunder Wave, and Stealth Rock. But yeah, that being said, let's jump into it. So, like I said, we are going to lead our Iron Jugulis. We do see that it is Terra Water on the Tornadus right here, as Tinkaton is going to lead. And I live a play rough. I looked at this calc. I live a play rough. I don't expect there to be a Thunder Wave, right? So I like to just get off said Meteor Beam and do as much damage as possible. I want to punish passive Rocks play, and I live the Meteor Beam. So popping this balloon is great for my Great Tusk. It's great for things like Bundle as well. We can really exert a lot of pressure, do a ton of damage to this team. So I just got off the Meteor Beam. You see, it's a crit, so it does a lot of damage, 43, but that's great damage. +1 would have put it in range of an Earth Power anyways, as my opponent does elect to make the passive play and get up their Stealth Rocket here. So a little bit of an aggressive play turn 1, gonna put me in a great spot. As you try and Earth Power a Tornado switch in, Mirror, I'm just gonna Hurricane because I take any hit, but I end up just being faster. And not only that, I Oko the Torn. Now it's a +1 modest Hurricane, right? That's a lot of damage. But not only was I faster, I Oko'd it, so it was probably like really physically defensive Torn. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't even timid. I was modest. So this was very, very slow turn, which implies a lot of bulk, and it did not matter in the face of Iron Jugu, as we're just gonna knock it out from full. Gouging comes out here. I have some rolls where I could just knock this thing out with Earth Power without tearing. Granted, maybe I should have just Terra'd, but at this point, I still wanted to save my Terra for my Great Tusk, potentially. And I didn't think it was too big of a deal if I didn't get this KO, especially because if it attacked me, I lived any one hit guaranteed. You'll see even now, because they had the bulk to live that hit, Heat Crash isn't enough to knock me out. Flare Blitz would have, but it would have knocked them out too. And I'm just going to go ahead and 2-hit KO this thing. And again, if you look at my opponent's team, they don't have a single Pokemon that actually outspeeds Iron Jugulis now. This modest Jugu, unless it's like max speed Gliscor, this modest Jugu outspeeds everything and is at +1. So Aloe comes out. If this isn't AV, it just dies. If it is, great information for me to know. I'm going to get off this damage right here, right? Gonna go for a Hurricane, do 58. It is AV and flip turns. And man, Aloe sucks sometimes. And they're gonna go ahead and flip turn out into their Gliscor. I Hurricane, I get a crit here and I knock it out. Now I knocked out Fizdef very often, like a lot of the time. So I don't know if that 100% mattered. I'm fine with that damage regardless. Like, this guy's doing what he's supposed to, right, at this point. We're gonna miss this next Hurricane, so I guess a little bit of Divine Intervention. We're gonna get knocked out. Aloe's back to full, but I mean, Jugu led and got 3, so it got 3.5, because look at this Tinkaton. Out comes Great Tusk. I am going to Terra this turn because I don't want to be weak to Play Rough. and I'm just going to go ahead and Rapid Spin, get rid of these rocks that cannot go back up, which again is absolutely beautiful for me. They can't go back up because I knocked this thing out with an Earthquake. There is no ground resist. I'm going to go out into my bundle right here because I don't want to allow it to bulk up. I can just Encore Stun this thing if it does end up doing so. I didn't think a Drain Punch would come out, especially being what I have in the back. I do end up flip turning out here on the hard Alomola. Maybe just doing a, what do you call it? Maybe just freeze drying or flip turning in general was the play, but hey, no big deal. Iron Crown's going to come out this next turn as I do end up future sighting, expecting this to pivot right back out into AV Mola. And again, we can kind of just exert some pressure with the combination of future sight and psychic here on our Iron Crown. I'm gonna get a little greedy and try and Swords Dance right here. I probably should have just Thunder Punched. I think I secured the game if I did that. Not 100% sure why I SD'd. I guess in my head I'm like, wow, Aloe is really bulky. I need to not die to Aloe. They reveal Encore on the ape right here, which is definitely annoying. They get me right there, so they kind of beat me at my own game with the Encore spam here. As I am going to go hard bundle, I was expecting them to maybe be Encore bulk up, but they're actually going to be a U-turn brand, which is fine. That means it's definitely not going to be bulk up in that last slot. I'd be very surprised if it was Encore, U-turn, Rage Fist, bulk up, mono, no drain, I guess. As drain does come out here on my Scream Tail, which is obviously very, very nice. I'm going to pivot out and Scout for that, what do you call it? That Encore, as I am just going to get up Stealth Rock and Thunder Wave down this little Mola. Pivot on an Iron Bundle right here, as it's not really super threatening to me. Just going to get off as much damage as humanly possible with this Freeze Dry. They can go ahead and Mirror Coat if they'd like, but I'm not too worried about it. Out comes Annihilate. Again, I just need to get off some damage on this thing. It's showing leftovers as well. So Hydro Pump is going to do a ton of damage, as Rage Fist does knock me out. But from this point, Crown should have this pretty much sealed up. I'm going to go into Crown, just knock this thing out with a Psychic. Obviously, I couldn't Future Sight there because it could just Rage Fist and kill me. Out comes the Aloe. I am going to Future Sight right here, as Future Sight and Psychic is going to be enough. I guess I could have just Psychic and Psychicked, but, you know, hey. No biggie. Didn't want to lose my diff point, right? We're gonna Psychic and Volt. I guess I could have just Psychic and Volted too, because I wouldn't have died to Miracle. But regardless, we are gonna take home a nice 4 victory. Jugu putting in some work at this point. Jugu putting in some absolute work, which was definitely really, really fun to see. I think that mon's really slept on with Terra. Obviously it's like the best mon in LTM, at least on paper. Sorry, Dira. So it was cool to see it pop off in Standard, though. It definitely has some potential. It's just a matter of, like, are you willing to sink your resources into using it like that? But yeah, that's going to be game 2. We're going to move on to finals here. Alrighty, here you are in finals with Mono Paradox. So not too bad of a result for our first video like this, right? Making finals, again, only 3 battles, but 2-0 up to this point. Against Jonas, and he has some really scary things. Again, he is probably the best Paradox Pokemon objectively in Iron Valiant right here. But also some big threats like Tinglu, Terra Goldango, Terra Breloom, which is really, really scary into our team, to be honest with you. Rabombi for webs, and then Porygon Z. So, like, some crazy hazard stack offense. I love Breloom, by the way. It's, like, one of my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon. One of my favorite Pokemon in general. I love that guy, so I'm happy to see him getting some use right here from Jonas. Let's take a look at the squad that we're ending up rocking with in the finals matchup here. We have a Choice Scarf, Grace Tusk right here. Once again, Terra Ground. If you look at my opponent's team, they do not have ground counterplay. Rabombi doesn't count. Breloom does not count. Scarf Headlong is so unbelievably strong into this team. Really, really powerful. It's a great, great endgame win combo. We also have Close Combat in order to blow up the Breloom if we need to, and Rapid Spin to get away hazards if at all, or if absolutely needed. Now, I was walled by Balloon Goldango. Yes, I'll just pop it first. It's fine. Alright, next up we have Iron Hands. It's going to be Assault Vest here, Thunder Punch, Earthquake, Volt Switch, and Drain Punch. Pretty simple stuff. It is going to be our main counterplay to things like Goldango, and it's a soft check to things like Porygon Z. Earthquake is going to do a lot of damage to Goldango. It's not going to be able to as easily recover off damage on us as it would other sets, so that's kind of why we have EQ there. Then we just have our stabs and Volt for momentum. Next up, we have Weakness Boss of Crown. Again, going to be our win condition. We have Stored Power, Agility, Iron Defense, and Focus Blast. If we can put some damage on that Tinglu, this set goes absolutely crazy. Iron Defense in its face, take an EQ, take a payback, whatever it might be. Take a knockoff from the Iron Valiant, take a Shadow Ball from the Goldango, take a Bulldoze from the Breloom. Probably don't want to, though, just because then we are only +1 with our agility and we can get revenge a little bit easier. Take a Dark Pulse or Shadow Ball from the Porygon Z, and we're putting ourselves in a pretty good position to do crazy damage. Once we get boosted up, if that Tinglu is chipped, this set can just win. And we have our heavy duty boots, Screamtail, pretty simple stuff. We are Dazzling Gleam, Thunderwave, Psyshock, and Stealth Rock. You'll see we have a lot of boots on this team. Our last 3 members are actually going to be boots because there's a lot of hazard stack on the other side and not a lot of opportunity for me to spin in this battle, in my opinion. So lots of that. It's going to be our rocker. It's going to be a soft trick, things like Valiant, which is always nice as well. Then we have Boots Bundle, Freeze Dry, Hydro Pump, Flip Turn, and Encore. Wow, we ran the same set every single time. Maybe U-turn or maybe Flip Turn, but other than that, same set every time. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Encoring stuff in is always nice. And yeah, just decently strong Pokemon. Not very bad at all. And then lastly, we have Iron Jugulis. It's going to be Terra Water. Definitely another Terra option here. We don't need a Terra on Tusk, right? We're already a Ground type. We could stay a Ground type. We get a stronger Ground type. But Water's nice here, potentially. It's a good neutral typing defensively. And it makes these Hydro Pumps really strong in a Tinglu. And they don't really have a great switch into Iron Jugulis other than Tinglu. So I can use this to very comfortably put damage on said Tinglu for our Iron Crown Wincon. It's a general idea. We just have kind of 4 coverage moves, really strong mod in this matchup. And yeah. Alright, that being said, let's jump into it. Looking at the Terra typings, on the opposing side, we have Terra Fairy Goldango, Terra Fighting on the Breloom. Oh, and it is Terra Porygon. Terra Fighting on the Porygon as well. So lots of Terra Fighting, which is definitely interesting. It wasn't something I super expected. Definitely didn't expect Terra Fighting Breloom, but... And here we are. We're going to see a Tinglu lead as I lead my Jugulis. This is great. I want to get damage off on this thing, right? I'm not doing a ton with Hydro Pump, but 31, respectable. Not going to be too upset about that. Rocks do go up, but my team isn't very weak to rocks. I'm going to be U-turning, thinking they want to save health from this thing. Go on to my Great Tusk right here, so they can't really do too much damage to me. As they are just going to Whirlwind. Definitely annoying, but not too big of a deal. I'm just going to go ahead and pump again, do another little 31, which is great. Get Whirlwinded as Screamtail is going to come out. Get up my own Stealth Rock, which is very nice. Whirlwind's going to go out. Out in a bundle we go, and we can just click a nice strong Hydro Pump at this point. Not going to be quite enough, so if I would have just Hydro Pump one more time, you would have been able to knock that out with it and not taking the EQ there, but no big deal. We're just going to Freeze Dry, knock this out. Breloom is going to be the next switch of choices. I go into my Screamtail as a Spore comes out. So good aggressive Spore from the opponent, catching me wanting to save my bundle, not get, what do you call it, Mach Punch. I decided to go into Iron Jugulis right here and get caught by a very surprised Gunk Shot. I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking we're going to see a Bullet Seed come out here, and I didn't want to take the Bullet Seed. So I switched out to my Jugu, took a ton of damage from that Gunk Shot. It is still enough for me to live a terrifying Mach Punch, though, so I'm not too worried. I just got to hit this thing with a Hurricane, and we miss. I mean, it's Kane, right? You know, there's not much you can do. We are going to go down. And definitely unfortunate in that regard, but hey, not the end of the world. Crown is going to come out, and again, they might be tilt because I was like mad I just missed, but I didn't think my opponent would just give me this Breloom. Breloom looks really, really strong right now. It is a ground resist, and it OHKOs like everything on my team at this point, or 2-hit KOs everything on the switch in dang near. I figure there's no universe in which they let me kill this. They have a whole Goldango they can go into on my Crown. They're going to go into Goldango here. So I end up clicking Agility. To be honest, I didn't really have a move to kill this anyways, but in my mind, I figured they would know that, and they would pivot out. But they are unfortunately just going to pop a CC into me and bring me down super low into range of a Mach Punch, or close to a Mach Punch after. I'm going to knock it out with a Stored Power, and Breloom goes down, and we get a lead, but I mean, it's not enough, right? We're still definitely in a really, really bad spot. Thankfully, they go into Balloon Goldango right here, which is great for my Great Tusk, because I am going to be able to pop this, but losing my win condition here this early is definitely a bit unfortunate. I am going to go into Great Tusk, hoping that they go hard Rabombi. That'd be great for me, as I am just going to EQ Terra, knock this thing out. If they want hard Rabombi, you'll see right here, this does a ridiculous amount of damage. We would have 2-hit KO'd. I mean, 64% is really funny on a resisted EQ. Scarf, by the way, non-boosting item. So we're just going to knock this thing out, 2-hit KO it there, which is great. The only issue is now Iron Valiant is going to come out, and there's not much we can really do at this point. It is going to close combat us, and because we took that Moonblast, we are going to be in range, and my Screamtail is sleeping. And this is my only check to it, right? Booster speed, my other guys just die at this point. There's really nothing I can do. They are going to go ahead and SD and Poison Jab. Totally fair. We don't get the wake up that we need, which we would have knocked it out. And again, if we knocked out, then we're in a great spot. We won this game if we woke up right there. So that's just, it is what it is. We're going to die to a CC right here. 94 is crazy damage. Down we go. And then CC's going to pop here in the bundle. And we get knocked out. We couldn't go hands there. I know hands lives a neutral, like, Spirit Break pretty comfortably. But if we take too much damage on hands, and we don't, like, OHKO it anyways, right? Because we're not Heavy Slam. If we take too much damage on hands, we literally just lose to Scarf PZ. So I had to kind of play to keep my pieces around in order to not just get overwhelmed by the offense in the end, and we didn't wake up in time, and it is what it is, right? You know, that's life. That's Mons. And yeah, I got punished for playing a little over aggressive on the crown, but hey, it happens. Nothing you could do. GG to Jonas. Congrats on winning the speed tour. First one of the summer, hopefully. Again, if you guys want to join the Discord server down below, I plan on running more of these, and I'm going to be drafting fun gimmick teams to try and win with them because I don't have the mental strength and fortitude to draft a team like this for the full season. Shouts to guys like Viz and Amel who can do that and like struggle through it. I mean, I just did this for like 3 hours, and I was already pulling my hair out because the matchups were really hard. But I think it's fun for, like, you know, these little one-off videos. If you guys did enjoy, again, drop a like and give me more ideas. Give me more mono types. One idea I had was using only choice items while I played, or, you know, we do mono colors, mono types, things like that. If you have any really, really unique ideas, let me know. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Drop a like if you're new. Or drop a like if you enjoyed, sub if you're new. See you guys next time. Later.